And now I want to ask you our secret question. We ask everybody that comes on the podcast a secret question because we want to reveal your secrets to the audience.
Absolutely.
So, what is the secret to career alignment?
Setting goals. Setting goals and writing them down. Um, it isn't that boring, right? Like
I
that's
don't
kind of
think so.
boring, right? Um, but research has showed that if you write down your goals, just whatever they are, if you write them down, you are 3 times more likely to achieve them than if you don't. Just write them down, right? And so again, these little steps, these first steps can be seem like, well, what are my goals?
Yep.
Before I go to write them down, I have to figure out what they are. I have to reflect a bit. I might have to talk to some people in my life and get them down. And that really is the secret to start aligning and start envisioning a different future.
It's crazy how you and I are relying on so many things right now because we have a weekly call for our clients called the goal getting call, and it's based on our Profitable Christian Business Planner and Journal. Um, and we talk about what are the needle movers. Once they set their goals, what are the needle movers to help them get to those goals? And it's one of the most fulfilling things to me to hear them as they start to progress through to these goals and how the fear starts to fade away and they start to see momentum. And it's just
Yeah.
it's one of the best things. It's one of my favorite things I get to do. So
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I think too, like as grown-ups, we don't spend very much time daydreaming or imagining these futures for ourselves, and that's I think that's antithetical to being a spiritual person. Like we should be dreaming big and um, and wondering and being curious about, well, what else is there? What else is out there? What else can I do?
I love that you touched on the spiritual aspect of this is because the impact is not for us, it's the impact for his kingdom, right? How can we grow in order to grow the gospels, right? So,
Yeah,
so good.
yeah. Yeah, and and there's all kinds of statistics about people who are a little grumpy in their job or feel stymied or unsuccessful or have a terrible boss, that they take that home, right? Like that toxic environment impacts their home, their community, the people they're interacting with. So if we have good stuff happening at work, then we have good ripples, right? And not those bad ripples. We spend too much time working and with our work families to not have it be a positive, fulfilling thing. Not that it's easy, but that it's satisfying.
Yeah, and I think of I'm going to say the verse, but I don't know exactly the chapter and verse. So um, you'll know it. Somebody will be watching this and know exactly what chapter and verse this is. But do all your work unto the Lord, right? So no matter what situation God has you in the moment, you can feel more fulfilled knowing that you're doing the work to your best ability where you are. Um, and if we went to work, went to our entrepreneurial endeavors every day with that in mind, like do my work today as unto the Lord. So what can I do today to please God? Right? Forget about pleasing my boss. So yeah, you got to please your boss, but who like usually pleasing God is also going to be pleasing to your boss, right? Because that means you're not slacking it.
Well, and when we think back, like the crummy job, sometimes those crummy, dirty, icky jobs that we do a lot of times in our youth, right? That our families make us do or whatever. Like we've had a blast doing that. I had so much fun doing this thing. And it's because we brought fun. We had a fun environment. Maybe there was one person that was making that good. And so it didn't even matter. My dad has this hilarious story about his family had a hardware store, and they made bricks. So his great grandfather had started this brick company. And there was a new kiln, a new, in the 50s, this modern kiln that was going to make the bricks. So they had to knock down all these brick, old, dusty, yucky brick kilns to build this new one. And so his grandfather sent, like all the cousins out, right? So it's like, we can't have our workers doing this terrible job. We send the
Oh
children,
my goodness.
right? So my dad was out there they had hammers and they were chunking up these bricks and all this stuff. And he was with all his cousins, and his aunt brought donuts, and the neighbor brought lemonade, and he has these great stories of this filthy, dirty, terrible job that they didn't even want the paid workers doing. And and it helped shape who he was. And I think about, like, well, he's had lots more fun jobs
Mhm.
since then, but he really reminisces about the environment that the community created doing this terribly physical, dirty job that they still made it fun. And so I think some of that is the attitude you bring,
Mhm.
do
Mhm.
all your work, but also, what are those add-ins? And if we were in a little more positive environment, or environment that allowed those add-ins to come, how does that ripple out? Does it make you want to work harder or better, or bring those stories down to influence your children and grandchildren too? So
Yeah. Um, Probably shaped a lot of his character in those early years
yes,
when he was doing that.
yes,
And um, it makes me think of this too, is a lot of times God puts us in a season to do just that, shape our character. We're not ready for what we think we want right now.
mhm,
We
mhm,
need to be molded and shaped so that we can be in the best spot. God doesn't want us to fail when we get there, right? So
uh-huh.
he's molding us in these earlier stages in order to prosper in that. Thanks for checking out the Profitable Christian Business Podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, and share.